Hello and welcome to Solent Sports News. I'm Callum Bates and here's your 1 o'clock headlines. Everton have confirmed the appointment of Sean Dyche on a short-term contract. It has been widely reported the higher-ups at Everton had interviewed former Leeds manager Marcelo Bielsa as well as Sean Dyche for the job, but it was the former Burnley manager that came out on top. The Toffees sacked Frank Lampard last week after a terrible run of form, leaving them 19th in the Premier League and under serious threat of relegation for the second season running. Dyche spent 10 years at Burnley as an admired figure on his pragmatic style and entertaining press conferences. Massive breaking news in terms of the European Super League. Promoters of the European Super League have won their appeal, which now means all Super League clubs cannot be punished by UEFA or FIFA. This was granted after the European Super League formed in April 2021. We will get more as this story develops. A massive day for some clubs as they look to get deals over the line to help them with the second half of the season. But here is a little roundup of some of the most important deals. Athletic's own David Ornstein have reported Premier League leaders Arsenal have agreed a deal with Italian international Jorginho for 12 million. He will sign a contract to the summer 2024 plus an option to extend for a third year. Medical will later today at the Arsenal training ground. This shuts the door on the move for Brighton midfielder Moises Caicedo. It seems he is destined to stay at Brighton for now. Pedro Porro has also been linked to move away from Sporting. Tottenham have paid that release call for 39 million. Matt Doherty and Jed Spence have gone the other way out of the door, with Atletico Madrid and Rennes taking them both up with no obligation to buy or options to buy. Following the deal for Jorginho, there's still been no breakthrough for the World Cup young player of the tournament, Enzo Fernandez, following Chelsea's British record transfer bid. But Chelsea officials have now been sent to Portugal to strike a deal, but Benfica's stance have been clear, €100 million or nothing. As of right now, Chelsea are willing to pay that 100 million release clause, but only in instalments. Chelsea and Morocco winger Hakim Ziyech is close to completing his move from Chelsea to PSG. The only details that do need to be discussed is if it's a loan or a permanent deal. Also, the Moroccan international has already landed in Paris. João Cancelo has completed his move from Manchester City. That move includes an option to buy at the end of the season, which the fee will be £17 million. This move has occurred following a major bust-up with Portuguese international Man City manager Pep Guardiola after João Cancelo got subbed off in the Manchester derby defeat. It'll be interesting to see if Man City go out and find a replacement for the Portuguese international. Arsenal's women's have had a record-breaking bid for Manchester United's Alessa Russo. Russo has 5 women's Premier League goals in 9 games, and there has been no breakthrough between the two clubs just yet. Any deal looks unlikely as they are direct rivals and both teams are within 3 points of each other at the top of the table. Tension builds closer as we edge closer to Southampton's clash with Newcastle in the Carabao Cup semi-final second leg. Saints are without Juan Laros, Alex McCarthy and Valentino Livramento, and potentially Moussa Djenepo after he was taken off in the first leg after being clattered by Nick Pope and is yet to return to action. Nathan Jones' side are trailing 1-0 in the tie so far, but he claims despite their league position, they will go into the game aggressive and go after the win. And striker Sekou Mara says the team are confident they can get the job done ahead of the semi-final. Newcastle have the trio of John Joe Shelvey, Emil Kraft and former Saints player Matt Targett absent. Eddie Howe's side are flying at the moment as they are not only continuing their pursuit for Champions League football next season, but have their sights on Wembley and bringing home some silverware to St James's Park. The FA Cup fixtures for the 5th round have now been drawn. There are some few big teams that are starting to crash out. In the 4th round, we saw Manchester City knock out Premier League leaders Arsenal. Liverpool, the former holders of the FA Cup, also lost their 4th round tie 2-1 to Brighton. Red hot Manchester United are still in this competition and face West Ham at home after they won 2-0 last night against Derby County. However, the most notable fixture is Southampton against Luton Town if Luton manage a win against Grimsby in their replay. If this happens, Southampton boss Nathan Jones will face his former club in a ferocious tie. Also, Championship side will host Premier League champions Manchester City. In the Six Nations will be kicking off this weekend as Wales take on Ireland in the opener. Ireland are the current favourites for this year's edition of the tournament, with last year's champions France close behind after they achieved a Grand Slam, beating every nation. No team has ever won back-to-back Grand Slams, a feat France will be hoping to achieve. England are going into the tournament with a different coach from last year, Steve Borthwick taking the helm for the Lions in mid-December after a poor run of form under former coach Eddie Jones. At this time of the fixture being called off left, right and centre, that's no different for Brockhurst FC. Our team are out reporting on the scene right now.
The wild donkeys that linger around Brockenhurst ground will be the least of their worries. The Wessex League side have had several of their matches postponed due to the bad weather over the Christmas period. The Hampshire side, along with hundreds of other non-league clubs around the country, have a fight against the clock to get their season completed before the end of the campaign. More to come in an hour.
That's all for now. Make sure you check back in us with more sports news and exclusives.